يا الله. بسم الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف الخلق وسيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا سهلا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم إلى نور الفهم وأكرمنا بمعرفة العلم وزين أخلاقنا بالحلم يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم فك الكرب عن إخواننا المستضعفين في غزة وفي فلسطين. اللهم احقن دماءهم، اللهم احقن دماءهم، اللهم احقن دماءهم، اللهم تقبل شهداءهم، اللهم تقبل شهداءهم، اللهم تقبل شهداءهم، اللهم انصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم، اللهم رد عنهم ظلم الظالمين وعدوان المعتدين. ويا ربنا نسألك أن تنصرهم نصرا عزيزا مؤزرا، اللهم انصرهم نصرا عزيزا مؤزرا واشف صدور قوم مؤمنين، اللهم اشف صدور قوم مؤمنين، اللهم اشف صدور قوم مؤمنين. اللهم عليك بمن طغى وتكبر، اللهم عليك بمن طغى في البلاد فأكثر فيها الفساد، صب عليهم ربنا صوت عذاب. يا ربنا ردهم على أعقابهم خائبين خاسئين خزايا نادبين. اللهم افتحهم بين العالمين، اللهم أفسد رأيهم، اللهم أفسد رأيهم، اللهم أفسد رأيهم، واهزم جمعهم، واهزم جمعهم، واهزم جمعهم. اللهم اجعل تدميرهم في تدبيرهم، اللهم اجعل تدميرهم في تدبيرهم. اللهم اجعل الدائرة عليهم ولا تجعل لهم صرفا ولا نصرا. اللهم يا ربنا إنهم قد انتهكوا الحرمات، اللهم إنهم قد انتهكوا الحرمات وقتلوا الأبرياء وسفكوا الدماء ورملوا النساء ويتموا الأطفال وهدموا البيوت. اللهم يا ربنا عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك يا رب العالمين. نسألك يا ربنا صلاح الحال لأمة حبيبك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم ردنا إلى دينك مردا جميلا، اللهم ردنا إلى دينك مردا جميلا. اللهم ول أمورنا خيارنا ولا تول أمورنا شرارنا، ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك ولا يرحمنا. آمين آمين. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. أما بعد, today inshallah we're going to be continuing with the traveler prayers. This is one of the most important chapters in Fiqh of Salah, and it has a lot of common asked questions. Bi'idhnillah, we're going to go over all of those, and hopefully we'll finish the full section today. But it is a longer section because there's two parts to it. There is the first, well, of course, there's the intro about the reason why we have the special ahkam and special rulings during safar, and the evidence for that. And then after that, we're going to be speaking about shortening the prayers, qasr as-salah. And then the second section is about combining prayers. And that's relating to safar and relating to other situations, relating to travel and other circumstances where it's allowed to combine the prayers. So it's a longer section. It starts, if you're following in the book, on page 81. Starts on page 81. The very first thing he says in the beginning of this section is, travel is hard. And this is actually taken from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Prophet ﷺ says, "As-safaru qit'atun min al-'adhab." Travel is a form of toil and hardship and heartache, difficulty. There's so much difficulty associated with travel. One, in the exhaustion that it involves. Two, in sometimes the wahsha and the loneliness, or the, being out of your comfort zone, not having your familiar streets, places of residence, and your family, and so on and so forth. So it is associated with a lot of difficulties, especially in the past. Especially in the past. Travel in the time of the Prophet ﷺ was very life-threatening. Why? Because you had to journey out into the desert for days on end to get from one location to another. And in this journey, you may be attacked by highway robbers, and there was plenty of that. You may be taken captive and sold into slavery, and there was plenty of that. Or you may face some other type of difficulty that's natural, either being bit by a snake, stung by a scorpion, so on and so forth. All of these things, as we know, Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, when he was doing the hijrah with the Prophet ﷺ, he was stung by a scorpion. And this, the Prophet ﷺ prayed for his shifa, and he was healed from it. But again, all of these things are associated with travel. They didn't have hotels everywhere you go back in the day. So this was the difficulty of travel long ago. But, Jazakallah khair. But travel is still hard. Even if you're traveling first class, there are difficulties associated with travel. Now we have different types of difficulties. We have some people have motion sickness. Some people, again, you're preparing your luggage, getting to the airport in time, checking and screening, and all this stuff. All of it is a form of difficulty, even when there's luxury. Of course, no comparison, present to past, but still there is difficulty. That's why there is these special ahkam. They say this is a hikmah. What is the difference between, so we have two things. We have something called a hikmah, a wisdom, behind a certain hukum shar'i, legal ruling. And then we have a illah. A illah is the actual cause for the legal ruling. What's the difference between the two? One of the scholars, he simplified it. He says, al-hikmah tusham wa la tufrak. Right? That wisdom is something that you can gain some benefit from, like a flower. Like you smell it. But if you were to take the flower and, rub it like this, what's going to happen to the flower? It's going to crumble. It's going to be useless. The benefit of the flower is in its appearance and is in its smell. But if you're rough with handling the flower, it's going to be useless. So, same thing with the hikmah. What does this mean practically? You will find ways to argue against the hikmah. It won't apply in all situations. But a cause for the legal ruling, this is what, as they say in the books of Usul Fiqh, al-wasf al-zahir al-mundabit. It is something that is very evident, very consistent, and you cannot poke holes into it. So when someone says the cause for shortening prayers, for example, during travel is difficulty, we tell them, no, that's not the cause. Because if that was the cause, then we're going to find this person say, well, what if you're in the most luxurious car that you could think of. You're driving in a car, right? What is it? Give me a car like you're driving in a BMW or a Mercedes or something like that. The most luxurious car you could imagine. No traffic whatsoever. And you're going the distance of 50 miles and you're enjoying every aspect of it. Not 1 ounce of difficulty. Someone's going to tell you, what? Oh, well, why should I shorten my prayers? It wasn't difficult. If the cause is difficulty, well, difficulty is relative. Each situation is going to be different. What is the cause for shortening prayers? قطع المسافة. قطع مسافة السفر. The cause for shortening prayers for travel is covering the distance, the minimum distance to be considered a traveler. That is something consistent, whether your travel is difficult or easy. So again, he goes on to say, at the very minimum, people are separated from friends, loved ones, and familiar surroundings. Some other travel-related hardships make performing the obligatory prayers in their typical times or in full more difficult than normal. Thus, Allah, out of His overwhelming mercy, made prayers easier in several ways during travel. When traveling, some obligatory prayers can be formed in a shorter form, and some prayers can be joined together with another prayer. Shortening and joining can be an option for people who are on a long journey or making a short stop during a journey. And then he goes on to say after that, but shortening and joining are not options for people who are residents or making a long stop during their long journey. One must cease joining and shortening prayers if they return to their homeland, intend to stay somewhere for more than, and we're going to discuss this in detail, a certain time frame. He puts here 4 days. We're going to explain this inshallah. But that's the introduction to this section. It comes from a verse in the Quran. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah decrees ease for you. He doesn't decree hardship for you. So this is one of the hikam and one of the wisdoms behind the tashri' here and the legislation here. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have this principle in fiqh. What does it say? إِذَا ضَاقَ الْأَمْرِ اتَّسَعَ. When something becomes very difficult, you'll find that Sharia and Islamic law will make it more spacious. إِذَا ضَاقَ الْأَمْرِ اتَّسَعَ. It's one of the legal principles they follow and they apply in many different situations. And now the next question, is shortening prayers mentioned in the Quran? The answer to this, yes. It's mentioned in which surah? Which surah? Which surah is the shortening prayers? Qasr Salah. Where is it mentioned in the Quran? Anyone know? No, not Hajj. Good guess, I guess. It's mentioned in Surah An-Nisa. And he actually mentions this on the next page, just so you know. He mentions this on the bottom of page 82. وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ إِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَن يَفْتِنَكُمُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Look at this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here, and if you were to travel in the land, then there is no blame upon you if you were to shorten the prayers, and then there's a condition here. If you are afraid that those who disbelieved will harm you, will attack you. So when the companions heard this verse, they thought that the hukum, the ruling, was conditional with there being some danger. Okay, I only do qasr when there's danger. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ, that was true. There was some fear, element of fear. But then Sayyidina Umar came to the Prophet ﷺ and he asked him. Now, then when he asked him, this is when Islam had spread. Now, we're at peace and there's no more fear like there was in the beginning days. So can we still combine? So what did the Prophet ﷺ say to Sayyidina Umar? صَدَقَةٌ تَصَدَّقَ اللَّهُ بِهَا عَلَيْكُمْ فَاقْبَلُوا صَدَقَتَهُ. This is a charity from Allah upon you. Accept Allah's charity upon you. So this hukum here, as they say in the books of Usul Fiqh, هذا قيد خرج مخرج الغالب في زمن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. This condition in the verse is mentioned because it was what was dominant in terms of the situations during the time of the Prophet. But it's not necessary that there's fear in order for you to shorten. Now that's about shortening. Is combining mentioned in the Quran? No, it's not mentioned in the Quran. It's mentioned in the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, what are the things that are associated, the special ahkam that are associated with travel? What are they? One of them, shortening prayers. 2, combining prayers. What else? 3, we have for the fasting person to break his fast. Al-fitru fi Ramadan. That's for the traveler. Someone who travels, when they're fasting, an obligatory fast, can they break their fast? The answer is yes. Is there details? Yes, there's details. When we get to that chapter, we'll go over it. But that's what the Prophet ﷺ said, لَيْسَ مِنَ الْبِرِّ الصِّيَامُ فِي السَّفَرِ. So this is the third hukum. It is not of benevolence to fast while traveling. That's if the person would get weak by fasting during travel. If they're strong, go ahead. Fast if you want. If you want to pray a full prayer while you're traveling, go ahead. That's fine. It's not prohibited for you to pray a full prayer. Which one's better? Shortening or lengthening the prayer. If it's a far distance of travel, the better thing is to shorten the prayers. Why? Because we have another madhab. So in the Shafi'i school, the traveler has the option. Shorten or pray full. There's another madhab, the Hanafi school, that says shortening prayers is required. Wajib. You cannot pray a full prayer. So to them, you should not pray full prayer. So what is this? So the Shafi'i scholars, we have 2 choices. One choice would make my prayer prohibited according to another madhab. So they have this beautiful principle, the scholars, they say this, الخروج من الخلاف مستحب ما أمكن. Avoiding areas of scholarly difference is preferred, is virtuous when possible. So Hanafi scholars tell us it's haram, you should not pray full prayer. We're going to say, okay, the better thing is don't pray a full prayer. Shorten your prayers. Okay? Now this is the third hukum. There's one more that's not really applicable. It's a fourth ruling that's special during travel. It's not really applicable. What is this? The length of time that you can wipe on your footgear for a traveler, right? Your footgear in the past, they used to have what we call a khuf, They would, there's like a footgear that, similar to our type of shoes, they're very durable. They stop, they're not socks, they're different than socks. They stop water from penetrating. They would be able, just like sneakers, just like shoes. Similar to that. We call it a khuf. Back then, the ruling was, for someone who's a resident, you can continue to wipe on your khuf for a full day if you're a resident. And if you're a traveler, you could continue to wipe on your footgear for 3 days as a traveler. But now who on earth is going to keep any footgear on for 3 days? If they do, Allah ya'eenhum when they take that footgear off. The stench is gonna, no, I'm just joking with you. But we don't do these things now because travel is different now. We're not gonna keep something on for 3 days. Back then, yeah, maybe, because it's not easy. What are you gonna take it off for? To be in the desert and the sand? So the realities have changed. So these are the rulings. Now, what other rulings are associated with travel? Here's one more. Again, not really applicable to us, walhamdulillah. This one, أكل الميتة للمضطر. For someone who is in absolute necessity, if they're going to eat something that is not, well, maybe we'll find some applications for it in modern day. Someone who is muttar, who has no access to food, except something that is prohibited. And he's maqtu', that's the suggestion, that he's cut off from what he would normally have access to. The normal food he'd have access to. I need to eat. If I don't eat, it'll be detrimental to my health. And the only thing I have to eat is something haram. This is one example they give in fiqh. What else that's something more practical? التنفل على الراحلة. Another thing that's associated with travel, that's allowed, special ruling, is praying nafil prayers when you are riding something. That's allowed during travel. Nafil prayers. What are nafil prayers? These are extra prayers that are not required, not fara'id. You can't. Can you pray your fard salah in a car? No, you cannot pray your fard salah in a car. We'll tell you there's only one exception: if your life's in danger or you're afraid for your safety. We'll tell you, okay, go ahead, pray in the car. When you go home, pray again to pray it right. But لحرمة الوقت, pray in the car. But why can't you pray inside the car in normal situations? Because you're going to miss a rukun, which is al-qiyam, or maybe arkan, because again, sujood, how are you going to do sujood in the car? You're not going to be able to do sujood in the car, proper sujood. Unless you're someone who's disabled, mathalan, or someone who has a medical excuse, then you're going to pray sitting down anyway, that's different. But if you're someone who would be able to do normal sujood, you won't be able to do sujood in the car, right? The other thing you're going to miss is mostly tawajjuh lil qibla. You won't be able to do this, right? But can you do nawafil in a car? Absolutely, no problem. Wherever direction it goes, even if it goes the wrong direction of the qibla. You're in a car and it's not going, because why? Amr nawafil ashal. There's a lot of ease with extra prayers. Why? Because Allah wants us to do these extra prayers. So there's a lot of leeway and leniency, right? What else is special to salah? Is special to travel? Tarkil Jumu'ah. The musafir does not have to pray Jumu'ah. Is not required. What else? What is he required to do? Pray Dhuhr. What if he attends Jumu'ah? Can he pray 2 rak'ahs? Yeah, of course, no problem. But he's not required to attend Jumu'ah as a musafir, right? And these are the main ahkam that are relating to safar. And now we're going to go over some more details. What's the difference? Just khalini bas to get into. Let me lay out the main details, and if I don't answer your question, you can ask questions, okay? All right. What's the distance of travel? This is something that you'll find slight differences of opinion among the scholars. One, the Shafi'i school says the minimum distance of travel is 51 miles. So, anything more than 50 miles, 51 and more, you're going to be considered musafir. Where did they get this number from? This is something that was estimated because they have a hadith that show the Prophet ﷺ went a certain distance and he did travel when he went on this distance. And when they came to estimate how far is point A from point B where the Prophet ﷺ did qasr, they found that it's this amount of miles. So this was an approximation. Amr taqribi. It's not something that's set in stone. The Prophet ﷺ didn't say, Well, they didn't even use miles, so that's one thing. But he didn't say 51 miles. But they went and saw how he applied this rukhsa, and they applied it just like the way he applied it. So the Shafi'i school says 51. What does the Hanafi school say? 48 miles. 48 miles. So anything more than 48 miles is very close. 48, 51. What's the difference? Not much. All right. There's a madhab, interestingly, that's less than this. And I would recommend precaution not following it. But again, it's a respected madhab. It's the Maliki school. The Maliki school says 36 miles from what I recall. 36 miles for one to be considered a musafir. So this is the distance of travel, the minimum distance of travel for safar, for someone to be considered musafir. When am I considered musafir? When I pass 51 miles? Answer, no. When I intend to go a distance of 51 miles, I am considered musafir once I leave my city limits. Got it? Now, question. Let's answer this question. I live in Clifton. I am going out of state to another state, whatever, 100 miles away. 100 miles away. How far? Say you're going west, it's going to get you into Pennsylvania. Not much. Pennsylvania is massive, so you're going to get a little bit into Pennsylvania. If you're going westward on Route 80, for example, from here, you'll be into Pennsylvania, 100 miles. Definitely Masafat Safar. I'm leaving here, Clifton, and on my way, I don't know what city, what's a city that's close to Clifton, that's westward? I don't know if anyone knows geographically very well. Is it westward? Wayne? Wayne is westward? Okay. Is there a masjid in Wayne? Yes. Okay. I left Clifton, and on my way to Route 80 to go on together, I'm going to stop for something in Wayne. All right? And you know what? I say, you know what? It's dhuhr time, and I don't want to stop again. I'm going to have 100 miles ahead of me. I just want to pray, get the fard out of the way. While I'm in Wayne, can I do jam' and qasr? Answer, yes. Because I'm considered musafir when? When I leave my city. What's my city? Clifton. I live in Clifton. As soon as I leave Clifton, if I'm going to a place that's more than 50 miles, I am musafir once I leave Clifton. But I need to be leaving a place that's... How do I measure 51 miles? Now, okay, because we're not going to fly over, I have routes, right? How do I measure this? You measure it by the most relevant, reasonable distance from your location. Now, say if someone, what if I just keep on going in circles around Clifton? I'm sure I could get 50 miles in. Is it how much I actually drive? No, of course not. That's tala'ub. Yani, if I'm going a distance of 50 miles from the most reasonable direction, right? Then I'm considered musafir. All right, this is in terms of the distance of travel when I'm considered musafir. All right, let me give you another scenario. When I am a resident, if I know I'm going to travel now, can I do any of the special ahkam that are relating to travel? Can I do any of the special rulings relating to travel? Okay, I'm going to go right now. I'm going to Newark Airport. I'm going to go to another country, right? I'm going to Newark Airport. I'm going out another country. So Newark Airport's 20 minutes from my house, mathalan. So now, I still didn't leave yet. While I'm at home, can I do any of ahkam as-safar? Answer, according to most scholars, no. According to most scholars, no. Is there a madhab that allows? Yes. All right. What is absolutely not allowed while I'm still at home? I cannot shorten prayers. This is absolutely not allowed. According to all four madhab, I can't shorten my prayers. But can I combine them? According to one madhab, that's the Hanbali school, then you can do that. If you're traveling, before you actually leave, you can combine the prayers, dhuhr and asr mathalan, and then travel, right? But you need to pray them 4-4. The other three schools says, no. All right, what am I supposed to do? Like we said always, don't mix and match. Try your best to not follow hawa. But if some situations are going to make it, like for example, I'm a sister, I'm going to Newark Airport, I'm alone or whatever it is, or the boarding time is so close to the time of Asr or Dhuhr, and it's going to be very difficult for me to pray at the airport. So can I do it before I leave because I don't want to be by myself in the parking lot praying in the airport? If there's a difficult situation that you know, مثلا, it's going to put you at risk if you leave it later on, you can follow the rukhsah. You can follow another madhab if it's a difficult situation that you're going to be in. Or say, for example, it's a matter of convenience. I would tell you, just make sure your prayer is okay and full according to whatever the madhab that you're going to follow is saying. Don't mix and match. Don't be whimsical and say, I want to take the best here, and the best there, and the best there, ukada. No, okay? So anyway, this is before you travel. Okay. What else must we say about the ruling of travel? Now, they mentioned this in general. Okay. Where am I going? Is it a place of residence or not? Am I going to a place of so here, I'll give you an example. I got this question a lot. So, there's two scenarios. One scenario is college student lives on campus. Mathalan, Pennsylvania. You go to some university in Pennsylvania and you stay there 5 days a week at the university. While you're there, of course, you're a resident there, that you're staying there for the full year, but you come home to your parents' house. You don't have your own house on the weekends, mathalan. When you come to your parents' house for 2 days, can you shorten your prayers while you're by them? The answer, no. If it's still considered your home, you cannot shorten your prayers when you visit your parents. If it's still considered your home, you just went to school, you're going to be gone for a year, 2 years, whatever, then you're going to come back home and live with your parents until you get married, mathalan. In this type of situation, can you shorten when you're visiting your parents? No, because this is your home. It's your place of residence. However, say if it's not your home. I'm independent. I have my own house. I live in Pennsylvania. It's the next state next door. I'm going to keep on using Pennsylvania, right? I live in Pennsylvania. I have a family, kids, مش عارف إيه. But sometimes we go visit my parents' house and we stay with them for the weekend. In this case, can I shorten when I visit my parents? Yes, because it's not my house. Now, even when I come to the house, I'm coming like a guest. I don't have a room, I don't have furniture, I don't have my things there. I'm just a guest. I'm here to visit my parents, even if it's my own parents' house. Still, it's okay in this type of situation to shorten the prayers when you visit your parents' house. Now, let's give another scenario. What if, and I get this from people who travel a lot for their work. What if, someone travels for consultations. They travel 4 days a week to another state for a certain project, and they come back home to their home only 3 days. So they're actually outside of their home more than they are in their home. They're only in their home 3 days a week. The other days, they're traveling. So in this case, can I shorten when I come back home? Answer, no, I cannot. Because this is, what's the meaning? Why? Because in this case, I am not musafir, right? I'm not, whenever I come back home, there's a certain thing when you come back home. So this rukhsa is, where is this? It's not coming from hawa. Who is considered musafir, right? You know, safar, I'm going to keep all my stuff in the luggage. I need to, make sure that, my things are ready because I'm going to have to leave tomorrow, and I'm never going to settle down. When you come home, what are you going to do? I'm going to throw the suitcase, take everything out, put it in the laundry, put my shoes, and I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to relax. ما في سفر. ما في معنى السفر. There's no meaning of travel when I go back home. Even if it's for a short time. Some people, they're truck drivers, مثلا. Same thing. I'm home only a day or two a week. The rest of the time, I'm traveling cross country. Or مثلا, flight attendant. Same thing, flight attendant. Someone who's a flight attendant is someone who does jam' and qasr every single day. They're always doing jam' and qasr, right? Because they're traveling, and that's fine. Someone might continue to shorten and combine the entire year. Someone who's a truck driver, مثلا, he's not staying in one location for a long time. Stay a day here, stay a day there, half a day there, there. I can continue to shorten and combine as long as I'm in this situation, right? So this is something else to keep in mind in terms of, so balad al-iqama, the city of residence, is not going to change whether you stay there a short amount of time, a long amount of time, all the same. Once you get there, that's it, you're a resident. Okay. Now, same would apply if someone has two homes. Two homes, مثلا. I have two homes. I have a home in this country and a home in that country, right? So if I have two homes, while I'm traveling, I'm musafir. But as soon as I get to point B, my second home in country X, khalas, I'm no longer a traveler. It's done because I live here, I have a house. It's a second house. Maybe I only come here once a year, twice a year, but same thing, I have a house. It's a place of residence, right? So this is, all right, now this is the next important thing. The next important thing is, what is the duration of travel? So man huwa al-musafir, who is the musafir, the traveler? We spoke about this, that's it, we answered it. How long is safar? How long is safar? Safar is, there's a difference of opinion about what's the maximum duration you could stay in a place until you're considered muqim. Until you're considered muqim. What are the opinions? The Shafi'i opinion, as we saw in the book, was it is 4 days. غير يوم الدخول ويوم الخروج. Other than the day of arrival and the day of departure. Let's give an example. I am traveling to Saudi, or I'm traveling to Egypt. I'm traveling to Egypt. And I'm going to get there on Sunday. I'm traveling Saturday. I arrive Sunday. And then I'm only going to stay there for a few days. And I'm going to travel to another country after that. So am I going to count Sunday? No, because it's the day of arrival. I'm not going to count that day. Then, so the first day I'm there is Monday. Second day, Tuesday. Third day, Wednesday. Fourth day, Thursday. Now I'm going to ask, am I leaving on Friday or not? If I'm leaving on Friday, then this is the maximum duration. That's okay. That's okay. I can shorten and combine if my trip to Egypt or my trip to Al-Qahira, for example, Cairo, because it's not let's say Egypt, because it might confuse, because in Egypt you could go from one city to another. That's going to make the different calculation, right? So I'm going to Cairo, I'm going to stay there, I get there Sunday, and I'm going to stay there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I leave Friday. What am I going to tell the person who asks me this question? Can I shorten and combine? Answer, yes, no problem. You tell me, no, I'm not leaving Friday, I'm leaving Saturday. I'm going to tell you what? What am I going to tell you? As soon as you get there, you are a muqim. Why? Because you are staying longer than the maximum duration for you to be considered musafir, right? So you guys understand? So some people there's a big misconception that, okay, the first few days, the first 6 days, I consider myself a musafir, I shorten and combine, and then بعدها بصلي صلاة عادية. I'm going to pray a normal prayer after the 6 days. Answer, this is wrong. No. If I know I'm going to stay more than 6 days, I know I'm going to stay, for example, I'm going to Al-Urdun, I'm going to go to Jordan, I'm going to stay there for a full month. I know I'm going to stay there for a full month. As soon as I get to the city I'm supposed to be in, I am going to be considered muqim. As soon as I get to Amman, if I know I'm going to stay in Amman for a full month. Say if the scenario is different. Say if the scenario is different. Let's go back to Egypt. I have family all over Egypt, right? I'm going to go there for 3 weeks. I'm going to be in Al-Qahira the first 5 days. The next 5 days, I'm going to go to Skandaria. The next 5 days, I'm going to go to Marsa Matruh. The next 5 days, I'm going, Marsa Matruh is this resort city, right? Next 5 days, no, Sharm el-Sheikh, a'udhu billah. No, a'udhu billah. The next 5 days, I'm going to go to Kafrish, no. I'm going to go down to Sa'id, right? I'm going to go to Sa'id. The next 5 days, I'm going to go to Sa'id. Every 5, I have this plan. I'm going to go to all of these different cities. Am I considered a traveler the whole 3 weeks? The answer, yes. If you're not staying in one city for your full stay there, then the hukum of safar is going to continue with you. But no, what if I'm going to Cairo, and then I'm just going to go out for a little bit to visit my aunt in Skandaria, Alexandria, and then I'm going to come back to Cairo. No, this is different. No. If I'm coming back to Cairo, khalas, I'm in Cairo. Now I'm just going for a short visit and coming back. But if I'm going from city to city to city, then the hukum of safar continues to travel with the person. Everyone understand this one? Everyone understand it? Okay. Now, this is the Shafi'i madhab. What other madhabs are there? The Hanafi school. Hanafi school allows one to only shorten, right? For 15 days. For 15 days. So we pay attention to that. And now someone might say, okay, these two madhabs are in accordance with my hawa and my whim in two different ways. Shafi'i madhab, combined prayers. Ya salam. All right. Hanafi madhab, 15 days. Allahu Akbar. Right? Let me take Hanafi madhab and Shafi'i madhab and make my own madhab and gather between the best of both. Right? So let me do this and that. Answer, this is hawa. This is not ubudiyah. Be careful from this. Don't do this. So Hanafi madhab allows you to shorten for 15 days. Okay. Maliki madhab, 20 prayers, 4 days. Not a good madhab. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, it's a good madhab. But lesser amount, 4 days only. 20 prayers, 4 days. They count it by the prayer. Adad al-salawat, 20 prayers. Okay. Is there anyone who says something else? There's another opinion, but I don't encourage following this opinion. Don't follow this opinion. This other opinion says that the duration of travel is something that is urfi. For as long as you're considered musafir, we're going to consider you musafir. Even if this lasts for months and years. So there's this fatwa that's coming out. So originally this madhab, the urfi part of it, is the madhab of Imam ibn Taymiyyah, one of the respected scholars of the past. However, the application of it, some fatawa tell people, some people travel for work, travel for example, ilaj, going to a hospital, they travel outside to another country, or more commonly, schooling. I'm going to go to America from country X to attend the Jam'ah, 4 years, university. And after these 4 years finish, I'm going to go back to my country. There are some people who come to America with this fatwa, and they shorten and combine for 4 years. Again, following this fatwa. Again, because they say it's amr urfi. It's something, again, this, I strongly discourage you from following it. Because this is an opinion that's outside of the 4 schools. None of the 4 schools say this opinion. There is an opinion that says that. Is there an application for it that is more reasonable? Of course, Imam ibn Taymiyyah is a respectable scholar. I don't think he would allow someone who's going to go live in America for 4 years to do qasr and jam' for 4 years. It just sounds so whimsical, but maybe perhaps for him, it's not tied to a number of days, but rather the concept of safar. If someone's gone for a month, 2 months, that sounds reasonable, that the application of the madhab of Imam ibn Taymiyyah would apply to that type of situation. Because the person would still not really feel settled. I'm going to the Urdun for a month, 2 months. I don't feel really settled. Because what? I'm counting the days. Oh, 1 week left, 2 weeks left, 3 weeks left. I'm counting the days. I'm ready to go back. So anyway, there is this other madhab that says that. But we need to be careful of the application of it. Right? So this is about the duration of travel. How long until I'm not considered a traveler anymore? See, the other part of this, why is this so khatir and so critical, so dangerous? Now, what if someone comes to America with this attitude, I'm going to university 4 years, I don't have to pray Jumu'ah either, by the way. خلاص أنا مسافر, right? So خلاص أنا مش حصلي الجمعة, or I'm going to combine each prayers, I'm only have to pray, for a very short amount of time, and I'm going to do this, again, for long periods of time. So again, this is where wara' and fiqh need to go hand in hand. مثلا, technically speaking, someone who works as a truck driver doesn't have to pray Salat al-Jumu'ah, right? Doesn't have to pray because he's musafir. But I would tell a brother who's a truck driver, please, Salat al-Jumu'ah is min sha'air ad-din. Be mindful of this. Yes, it might not be wajib on you, but it's better for your heart to pray Salat al-Jumu'ah. Because someone who works truck driver, he might not have to pray Salat al-Jumu'ah for years. He might say he's a truck driver for 10 years. He'll never have to pray Salat al-Jumu'ah. And this person will have no irtibat bil masjid. Khalas, that's it. I'm always on my own. So this is where wara' and fiqh need to go hand in hand, and we need to encourage people to try their best to do what's most pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jal. So this is about the duration of... Okay, there's one more thing that's relating to this that's important. I'm going to a certain place, and I don't know how long I'm going to stay there, because I'm waiting for something to get done. And as soon as it's done, I am going to leave. There was this situation. And why is there the difference of opinion in terms of number of days? There's this hadith that says the Prophet ﷺ, let's see if he mentions it here. Prophet ﷺ went out to a certain area to wait for an enemy. And he waited there, because they were in battle, they're waiting for battle. He waited there for 17 days. 17 days. And the enemy did not come out to meet him, so he went back to Medina. So what do they take from this hadith? 17 days. And what did he do while he was there? The Prophet ﷺ did qasr and jama' for 17 days. So what do they take from this hadith? They say that this is referring to the Prophet ﷺ going out, and he did not know how long he was going to stay there. So if, say for example, I need to go to, say I have a citizenship in another country, Jordan. I want to get the paperwork done for my kids so that they can have their citizenship too in Jordan. I'm going to go travel, and I have no idea how long the procedures are going to take, because everything takes long over there. So what? I'm going to file all the paperwork, and I have to wait. I might have to wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I have no idea. So in this situation, if I am muta'ahib lis-safar, I can continue to shorten and combine if I'm always waiting for this issue to finish, and then I'm going to leave right after that. Then I could continue. This is an exception to that. But if, say for example, I know it's at least going to take 21 days, خلاص راحت علي. If I know it's at least going to take 21 days, different story. But if I genuinely don't know, tomorrow, after tomorrow, next week, next month, I have no idea. So this is an exception to what we said. Wallahu a'lam. All right, I'm going to pause here for a second. Does anyone have questions? Anything that I didn't answer? We haven't gone over jam' yet. Qasr, we're only going over qasr so far. Again, it's all... Okay, this is a rukhsa, right? It's a dispensation. So if I want to know how to apply the rukhsa, I have to go to the example of the Prophet ﷺ. I can't apply it just like I want, or I'm going to consider myself musafir l-ashar sanawat, right? Or you know what, I came to America b'niyat al-awda. I'm going to go back one day to Palestine, and 30 years later, I didn't go back yet, right? So is this person musafir? No. Total hawa if I consider him musafir. He has a mortgage, or he has a car, or مش عارف إيه. Of course not. Of course مش musafir. So what standard can I follow? The only standard I have to follow is what the Prophet ﷺ did shortening for. So how long did he stay? The longest duration we have him saying is 17 days in this hadith, but it was with a special situation. كان ينتظر مواجهة العدو. He was waiting to face off with his enemy. Otherwise, the other situations that we have are shorter distances. 3 days, 4 days. This is what mentioned in the hadith. So where am I going to get this number of days from my head? So the Hanafi school followed this hadith that we said, and they interpreted it in a different way. They followed a narration of the hadith, and they said that no, this wasn't because the Prophet ﷺ was just waiting to meet his enemy, right? They said that this is the maximum duration of travel. But they got 15. I think they must have relied on a different narration of the hadith. But the other ones, again, it's all going back to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Mas'alat taqdeer. The Prophet ﷺ never came and told us, yom, yomin, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. No. He never told us 20 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles, 50 miles. What they did was, let me look at all of the hadith of Asfar al-Nabi ﷺ and put an estimate. Okay, this is the amount of distance. This is the amount of time. So, mas'ala taqdeeriya. It's not set in stone. That's why khilaf fiha, difference of opinion, is mustasagh. We don't have clear cut. Allah didn't make it clear cut. Oh, alhamdulillah. This is ikhtilaf ummati rahmah. It's a blessing from Allah that it's not clear cut on this issue. Allahu alam. What else do we have? Go ahead. Of course. Yeah. Only one way, not 2 ways. 2 ways, that means I'm going to consider short distance, 25 miles away. No, only one distance. Yeah, only one direction. But again, this is provided, look at something important here. Look at page 84. Page 84. Look at page 84. The circles represent cities, A, B through E. Huh? The lines represent paths between the cities. The labels on the lines indicate the distance of the paths. Someone traveling between cities A and B, right, is on a long journey. Why? 81 kilometers. How many miles? 51 miles, right? Someone who travels between cities A and C is not on a long journey, only 79 kilometers, less than 50 miles, right? And then he says, what if someone's going to 3 cities? I'm going from city A to city D, and then to city E, and then I'm going to go back to A. Mathalan, let me give an example. I don't want to go pick a city that's too far away. Mathalan, I'm in Clifton, and I'm going to go down, I'm going to go to, no, that's too far, Hajj. Way too far. Of course, you're going to do qasr و jama' و kullu if you go to Wildwood. But some place that's like not far enough, like some place that's 20, 30 miles. No, that's also too far. Parsippany, yes. I'm going from Clifton to Parsippany. And then I'm going from Parsippany, is it westward or where is it? Westward? All right. I'm going from Clifton to Parsippany. And then I'm going from Parsippany to Newark, mathalan. Newark is eastward. And then I'm going to go from Newark back to Clifton. Say this is my journey. I'm going Clifton, Parsippany, Newark, and then back to Clifton. Let's assume if I was to calculate from Clifton to Parsippany, is it far enough to combine? Answer, no, it's not that far. If I was to go from Parsippany to Newark, will I combine? No, it's not that far. If I was to go from Newark back to Clifton, would I combine? No, it's not that far. But if I was to calculate between these 3 cities, if I was to have 20 miles this way, 20 miles that way, and then 20 miles back to my original destination, like a triangle, mathalan. Say if it was like a triangle. If this is the situation, what's the total? 20, 20, 20? What do? 60. So in this case, I'm going to calculate like that. If I'm going to multiple cities, this is how I would calculate. But if I'm going from Clifton to Newark and back, I'm not going to count both these situations. Only if I'm going to multiple cities. Good? Now, someone who does delivery in New Jersey might find himself in a situation. I live in Clifton. I'm going to get in my delivery truck, and I'm going to go all over the state. I'm going to go from Wayne to a bunch of local cities. I'm going Wayne, Parsippany, and then I'm going to go I don't know all the cities, ma'alish, but let's just guess. Like, say I'm going to go to Montville, and then I'm going to go to, where else can I go? Where else can I go? Huh? Jersey City, North Bergen, and then I'm going to go hina و هناك. مش عارف, I'm going to calculate all of this. I know for a fact that I'm at least getting 50 miles in this multi-city trip, even though each of these directions is not a full 81 miles. What does this person do? The delivery driver? According to the ahkam of fiqh, is he considered musafir? Answer, yes. If I know my route, I have 10 cities I'm going to go to. Each one of them is not extremely far. But I know I have this route. I have to go. I'm going to be driving for the next 7 hours. The whole day I'm traveling. The whole day I'm driving. Deliver here, keep driving. Deliver, drive. Deliver, drive. This person's even going to feel like a musafir. If I was driving 7 hours in one direction, I could get from here all the way to the end of Ohio, right? So if this person was traveling in one direction, I would tell him, of course, uqsar. You're going to be driving for several hours, right? So the same thing we're going to say, same mantiq is, this person is yubashir nafs a'mal as-safar. He's just not going in one full direction, right? He's doing the same amount of travel, driving for several hours. How am I not going to consider him musafir? I'm going to consider him musafir. So in this case, he can shorten and combine during his work time too. But why don't I consider it when it's back and forth? Why don't I consider it? Why? Because now the extent of my safar is only 25 miles away. Now when I'm going back home, my safar is ending. Khalas, I know, my day is done, I'm going back home. I just went 25 miles away, I'm going back, khalas. It's different than the one who's going to multiple cities. Wallahu alam. You had a question? Yeah. So the luggage is something zaid, because you're talking about a specific type of safar for whatever ziyarat aila or umrah or kada or raha, safar raha. But some people, their shughul is safar, they travel for work. Now that person who is a truck driver goes 1,000 miles away. I'm going to tell him to tuqsirsh because you're working, it's daily. If it's daily, it doesn't matter. You know Ibn Battuta, right? Ibn Battuta was a historian. This is a historian. He stayed doing qasr and jama' for years because he never stayed in one location. Historian, he's writing all down the history. He's going from city to city to city. So even if it's work, it doesn't matter. المهم, so here, what do they say? What allows a person to do, this is a good question. What allows a person to do safar? When they answer to this, they say there's different types of asfar. There is safar wajib. There's a type of safar that's obligatory. What? لأداء فريضة مثلا. I'm going to do hajj or I'm going to do umrah. This is safar wajib. Or something that is wajib kifai. Safar li talab al-ilm. Right? I'm going to go seek knowledge, especially Islamic knowledge. This fard kifaya. This is safar wajib. Then we have safar that is mustahab, a recommended travel. Like what? لصلة الرحم, مثلا fortifying ties of kin. Or مثلا لأي من أعمال البر. I'm going to help someone out. Someone needs assistance. I'm going to go help someone out. Or لزيارة مريض. I'm going to go visit someone sick. This is safar mashru' ولا لا? This is safar mustahab. I'm going to get rewarded for it. The third type of safar is safar mubah. What's the example of that? Safar lit-tijara. I'm doing a business travel. Okay? I'm doing business travel. Does that count as one of the asfar that are mashru'a? Answer, yes. Business travel, no problem. What is safar that is makruh? That would be safar that is for some type of lahu that is disliked in Islam. Mathalan, I'm going to a place that has shubuhat in it. I'm not going to do something haram myself, but I'm going to a place that's very questionable. Right? مثلا I'm going to a place that has tabarruj or اختلاط or something else. Now the big difficulty for us is what if someone's traveling to go to the ocean? This is a difficult one. Someone's traveling to go to the ocean. The area I'm going to be in, there is fada'i', and there is like awful sights, left and right. I can't even avoid it. I know I can't avoid it. Okay, is this makruh or is it haram? Don't ask me. I'm being live streamed. I'm not going to answer this question. All right, but again, is it shubha? Shubha, yes, it's definitely a shubha. Now, the next type of safar is safar that is haram. What's a safar that is haram? There you go. I don't think someone going to Atlantic City or Las Vegas to gamble is really caring about salah. But imagine someone, okay, someone's going to gamble a little bit, and he says, you know what? I don't want to get the ithm of tark salah. I'm gonna pray on the way. I'm going to do one of the kaba'ir, but I'm gonna pray on the way. This person, can they do qasr and jama'? They say no. Safar al-ma'asiyah, rukhasu la tunatu bil-ma'asi. What is it? Someone who's traveling for ma'asiyah. So if you know someone who goes gambles, tell them this. You're going to gamble, you can't do qasr. Why? You're doing something haram, right? He's going to say shukran. No. Yeah. What else do they give as examples in the book? If someone's traveling to go kill somebody, this person is going to pray? I don't think so. But they say this is safar ma'siyah. Right? Huh? But anyway, someone's really angry, he wants to harm somebody. So he's going to travel for this. Can he do this? No, he can't do qasr. So if you know anyone this applies to, tell them you can't do qasr. Anyway, here's the one that's very controversial. So there's one that I'm not allowed to do qasr and jam' for. They say, al-ha'im wa rakib al-ta'asif. Someone who is joyriding. Khalas. I have a free day. I want to blow some stress off. I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to go on Route 80 and I'm just going to keep driving. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm going to just turn on the Quran. I want to zone out. And I'm going to get 500 miles away. We're going to tell him, al-ha'im, this person. Why? Because there's no niyat safar here. This person, rakib al-ta'asi. I'm just joyriding, right? I'm going to go to Route 80, to Garden State Parkway, to Mish'arifeh. I have a few hours to, I just want to I don't want to kill the time, right? A'udhu billah. I want to kill the time. So this person, can he do qasr? No. Here's the controversial one. All right, so that's, okay, this one's wadih. There's no controversy in this. What's the controversial one? As-safar lit-tanazzuh wa ru'yat al-bilad. If I'm just traveling للتنزه لإزالة كدورة النفس لإزالة كدورة النفس, as they say, to remove, I want to just like freshen up my nafsiyya. I want to feel better. So I'm going to go safar nuzha to this park, this nice park. Can I do qasr and jama' in this type of situation? There's difference of opinion about this. I think it was the Hanbali school that allows this, to do qasr and jama' for this situation. The Shafi'i school and I think the others do not allow this. If it's just لِمُجَرَّدِ النُّزْهَةِ, only for nuzha. But now what if I change the intention and make it for some amal salih? Mathalan, I have a halaqat Quran, and we want to go to some park that's an hour away, and we're going to play some volleyball, but the real intention here is لِبِنَاءِ الْأُخُوَّةِ. We want to build some brotherhood. Can we do this? Is بِنَاءِ الْأُخُوَّةِ matlab shar'i? Is it something that is Islamic and something desirable? The answer, yes. I could make the intention right. But if it's purely just for sightseeing and purely just for fun, then we're going to say no. So this is where the question is, all right? Let's go back to the ocean one. I'm going to go with my family. I have my nice cooler. I have my glasses, and let's suppose that it's a halal safar to begin with. Just to go with that argument, I have my glass, I have my hat, and I'm just going to go sit in this chair and sit in the sun. I have no Islamic intention or good intention whatsoever. I'm just going to sit in the sun. That's what I want to feel better. And I know my nafs. I know my nafs. Which the intention? If this is the case, then I shouldn't do qasr and jama'. If this is really the case. But say if no, I'm going to pray Fajr on the beach. Like they do. Some places they go Fajr on the beach. I'm going لِتَدَبُّرِ خَلْقِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَ وَلِلتَّأَمُّلِ, and to be in this space of truly, I'm going to Fajr time. No one's swimming Fajr time. No one's getting a sun مش عارف إيه at Fajr time. They're going to pray, to dhikr. Is this something that's matlub shar'an? Yes. So it goes back to the intention. If it's just for sightseeing, the scholars have differed if it's allowed. And this goes back to your question. So, وضحت Hajj. So even if it's daily, if it's for work, ما في مشكلة. يعني the whole point is علة القصر السفر. If this happens once a year, once a week, once a day, ما في مشكلة. That's fine. والله أعلم. Yes. If it's for the kids, مثلا you want to go to Six Flags مثلا. يعني للتوسعة على الأهل يعني مثلا يعني to build a bond with your children. يعني if you have a good intention, تعرف شو تحكي لهم? You should tell them, I could shorten my prayers, you guys can't, because you guys came to go on the screen machine. I came to, I'm just joking. خليهم يكونوا حنابلة. Let them be Hanbali on that. It's okay. Huh? According to the Hanbali school, yes. If you have a good intention, like your intention is, I want to build a bond with my son, with my daughter, so that I could dhakkirhum billah. Once I win over their hearts, I'm going to be able to make them closer to Allah. And I have this good intention, مثلا. And hatta when they go there, I'm going to do the adhkar with them, or I'm going to remind them, or I'm going to salli jama'ah with them over there. مثلا, I have a good intention. Tell them, if you're coming just to go on the screen machine and the Batman ride, ومش عارف إيه, you can't shorten and combine. أما I have a good intention, so I'm going to or just be Hanbali. خلاص ما في مشكلة. والله أعلم. Yeah. Can you do? So what applies to Jam' is going to apply to Qasr. Both of them the same. It's not going to differ. It's either purely for sightseeing and fun, or it's with a good intention that is maqsood shar'an, or mubah shar'an, like work. Right, something that's not just for sightseeing. It's actually something that is needed, something that's necessary. So it's going to be the same, whether you shorten or combine. Same thing. Tamam? No, the difference between the Maliki school and Shafi'i school is they say 20 prayers. The Shafi'i school says 4 days, discounting the day of arrival and day of departure. So there's a difference. Shafi'i school is a little longer. Any questions? Go ahead. Yes. What do you mean? Yes. Okay. As soon as I arrive to the city where I'm going to stay more than 6 days. Of course, you follow the time of wherever you arrive, right? Because during the travel, I'm considered a traveler. That's without a doubt. My origin, the timing doesn't matter. Whenever I'm talking about salah, I'm considering real time. Like, so even when I'm traveling in an airplane, when am I supposed to pray Fajr? Am I going to look at the time in New York? No. If Fajr comes in when I'm over the Atlantic Ocean, then that's when I pray Fajr. I don't wait till it comes in at New York, right? So wherever I'm in, real time. Okay? Yes. That's, it depends on what you intend. What your intention is. If your intention is to, well, if it's just sightseeing, then no, according to the Shafi'i school. Hanbali school, from what I think I recall, is there's one madhab that allows it. I think it's the Hanbali school. Yes. Yes. But if there's a good intention associated with it, I'm going to Turkey to immerse myself in a part of Islamic culture. I want to learn about, I'm going there for a learning objective or something like that. That's different. Yeah. Is it more than 50 miles? Yeah. You considered a traveler until you actually get, when does travel end? When you get back to balad al-iqama. So مثلا, say I'm coming back from a very far travel, and my home is in Clifton, but I stop in Wayne on the way. I stop in Wayne. Can I still do Jam' and Qasr in Wayne? Yeah, I haven't arrived at balad al-iqama yet. That's Clifton. So I'm just coming back from a 1,000-mile travel, and I'm about to get back to Clifton. Until I get into Clifton, I'm musafir. As soon as I get into Clifton, khalas, I cannot do any qasr or jam' whatsoever. Good? Good? Yes. Go based on the intention. So usually the answer to this question would very likely be no. If it's just for the sake of joy and fun and stuff like that. استفتي قلبك وإن أفتاك الناس وأفتوك. This is what the Prophet ﷺ said. استفتي قلبك وإن أفتاك الناس وأفتوك. Seek recourse in your internal moral compass, even if people give you answers and they give you fatwa. What? Be precautious. If you're doubtful and you're not sure, then be precautious. Allah Alam. Yeah. If it's more than 50 miles, then they can combine. Yes, no problem. Combine and shorten. Yes, inshallah. So we still have a lot of things relating to this section that we didn't finish yet. There is a few things relating to qasr that remain, and a lot of things that relate to jama'. What we're going to do is, we're going to stop here today. Next week, we're going to finish this section and whatever remains with it. And hopefully we'll start the next chapter after that. So here we'll stop and we'll continue next week inshallah. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. وإياكم إن شاء الله.